Here's John Cooner to tell us about Whitetail Institute annuals.
Perennials are the bedrock of a good food plot program, but there's another important group of forages called annuals. Annuals are forages that can last up to a year and that are typically fast growing. The most common reasons for planting annuals are for attracting deer in the fall and winter, for producing tons of high protein forage in the spring and summer, or to provide forages in areas of lower rainfall. Also, annuals can be used to fine-tune your food plot program. For instance, you may be targeting a specific time of the year when you want to provide another food source for deer along with the perennials you have available. Annuals can be planted in the spring and fall in most areas. You can also use annuals specifically for harvesting strategies. The Whitetail Institute first started extensive testing on annual blends in the late 1980s. In talking with our customers, we learned that there was a specific need for food plot product that could be planted with minimal ground preparation. After Dr. Johnson and our research staff had spent several years working with our research stations across the country, we introduced a top quality annual forage blend that was high in protein and very attractive to deer. That product is No Plow. No Plow can be planted with minimal ground preparation. As long as the plot is relatively clear of vegetation and you can get good seed to soil contact, No Plow will develop quickly and produce a highly attractive food source with up to 36% antler building protein. No Plow is perfect for those hard to reach areas like logging roads, pond dams, cutovers, and power lines. It's extremely fast growing and hardy, which allows it to be planted in tougher situations that may not be ideal for a perennial crop. Another important difference of No Plow is the different forage types included in the blend. Unlike most annual plantings, No Plow contains 3 distinctly different type forages that mature at different rates and are attractive to deer for a longer time during the year. One forage type grows very quickly and immediately attracts deer to the plot. This allows the other 2 types of forages to grow and develop. The second forage group, a blend of annual clovers, takes over when the faster growing ingredients are eaten down. As the clovers develop and are used by deer, a third forage species from the brassica family carries the plot late into the growing season as the weather turns colder. Once spring arrives, the clovers reemerge and last later into the spring. Again, No Plow is high in protein, establishes quickly, and is attractive to deer. Those are just a few of the advantages No Plow offers over wheat, rye, or oats, which can attract deer for a short time but lose palatability or are simply unavailable later in the season or in the spring. Secret Spot is another Imperial annual blend. It's the first ever personal food plot planting. As you may have guessed by the name, Secret Spot is designed to be planted in remote areas where heavy equipment may be hard to use. Those areas include small openings in the woods, high spots in swampy areas, and virtually anywhere sunlight gets to the ground and you want to attract deer. As long as your area receives 3 to 4 hours of sunlight a day, you can plant Secret Spot. Also, like No Plow, Secret Spot requires very little ground preparation. All you need to do is get rid of existing vegetation in the area and be sure that the seeds make good contact with the soil. There's no requirement to break the ground for outstanding results. Secret Spot grows very quickly and it contains a diverse blend of deer-attracting forages that can draw deer to your stand or any other area as soon as it starts coming up. Secret Spot allows you to plant a deer harvesting food plot almost anywhere you want. We like to say you can plant it in areas known only to you and your deer. And remember, it's often these remote areas that skittish deer feel more comfortable using, especially mature bucks. So how do you go about planting No Plow or Secret Spot? As with any seed, the more preparation you do, the better the planting will produce. If you can't access the location with equipment, you can plant either product just like you would plant a perennial. If not, just try to clear the area of vegetation. This can be done by mowing, weed eating, or using a Roundup type product. Next, lime and fertilize according to the directions on the back of the bag. Then, just broadcast the seed. And here's another tip that can help your No Plow and Secret Spot do their best. Once the plants reach 2 to 3 inches tall, apply ammonium nitrate to the plot as recommended on the back of the product bag. That will give your plot an added nitrogen boost to get them producing at their maximum rate. Now let me tell you about two other highly acclaimed annual blends, Wintergreens and Pure Attraction. By now, most hunters are familiar with brassicas and know that they become sweeter after the first hard frosts of fall. However, you may not know that the brassicas and wintergreens are vastly more attractive to deer than standard brassicas. That's because the brassica varieties and wintergreens include lettuce types, meaning that they have a vegetable genetic background. As a result, they're massively more attractive to deer than standard brassica products. In fact, in side-by-side testing, wintergreens proved to be at least 4 to 1 more attractive than any other brassica product tested. This preference wasn't by accident. It's because wintergreens was developed using only the most preferred brassica varieties. Another Imperial annual blend, Pure Attraction, was developed in direct response to the hundreds of calls we received from our field testers asking the Institute to develop a blend that would establish quickly, be extremely attractive right away, and still provide abundant forage for deer during the late season. Pure Attraction delivers the 1-2 punch our field testers had been asking for. The first stage of Pure Attraction features winter peas and Winna brand oats. And it's this stage that has really excited the testers at our research stations all across North America. These oats are extremely high in sugar content, exceptionally winter hardy, and establish very quickly. In fact, our field testers have reported to us that Winna brand oats in Pure Attraction outperformed every other forage oat product tested. Later in the season, when the cold weather sets in, Pure Attraction keeps performing as its second stage kicks in. This second stage features the Whitetail Institute's brassicas, which provide an abundant, highly palatable food source for deer during the cold winter months. A spring-summer annual blend that continues to get rave reviews across the country is a high-protein planting called Power Plant. For years, hunters have tried to use soybeans and peas in their management plans, but early overgrazing often made it impossible to get a stand much more than an inch or two tall. Once it got to that height, the deer would move in, and in a day or two, the plants were grazed down and the planting was gone. One of the most important benefits of Power Plant, and something that continues to make it so popular with hunters, is that it survives grazing so much better. And Power Plant is also incredibly high in protein. At the heart of Power Plant is a specially developed forage soybean that produces tons of antler-building, deer-attracting food. This bean produces large succulent leaves that are irresistible to whitetails. The climbing nature of this soybean allows it to grow vines that can reach 15 to 20 feet in length. And with this type of production, you can imagine the tonnage of forage produced. Also, we added tall structural plants to give Power Plant even more protection from early overgrazing and allow the forage plants to climb. This helps Power Plant to grow up to 6 feet tall and can produce excellent forage in bedding areas inside the perimeter of the plot. Power Plant also contains lab and specifically selected forage peas to make it even more irresistible. For hunters and managers looking for a high protein annual for spring and summer, you can't beat what Power Plant offers. And in the fall, when it matures, deer continue to consume the beans and peas until the planting is totally exhausted. When planting Power Plant, be sure to avoid any chance of frost after germination, which can damage the tender young plants. Power Plant needs warm soil temperatures to germinate, so plantings should be performed between late April and July, depending on your location.
Whether you're using a perennial or an annual or a combination of both, Whitetail Institute food plots are without a doubt one of the best ways to increase your odds of harvesting a trophy buck. Not because you're more well hidden or have a better weapon, but because you actually produce more trophy deer on your property. Also, food plots will improve the overall quality of the deer herd and bring more deer to your property. Here again is what some of our customers have to say. John Schultz of Illinois writes, "Your clover product has really improved the size and health of the deer on our farm, located in Pike County." Ron Yeckel of Pennsylvania writes, "We've seen 4 Pope and young bucks in our Imperial whitetail clover fields, and we were lucky enough to harvest 2 of them." John Ballum of New York writes, The deer really love the Imperial Alpha Rack. They eat it down and it grows right back. Gary Hungate of Arkansas writes, "This is what Alpha Rack has done for the bow hunting on our property over the past 2 years. My father and I are believers." Bob Kuhn of New York writes, "My wife Jackie uses your Imperial No Plow product to create her own secret garden in the dense woods she hunts. As you can see, it really works."